I think Ey.AI has been definitely a best practice on how to provide a quick risk market response into something where everybody was kind of trying to react. I think that two technologies of this 21st century are going to be AI and quantum.
EY has invested significantly in AI. How this investment has shaped EY's strategy, how it has propelled the transformation.
We have like one strategy, the implementation plan fits and adapts to the particular situation, and we call it the blueprints. We actually want to be the most AI-powered professional services firm in the world. These days, it's a bit of the calm before the storm, and I believe the storm is coming.
Hi everyone, welcome to BetterTech podcast. Today with us we have an exciting guest who is a leader in AI, got many awards such as Top Talent Award under 40, and has been in the field for more than 20 years, leading AI at Ey Consulting. Beatriz Sanz Saiz. So, welcome to the podcast, Beatriz.
Thank you.
Perfect. Can you give us a little bit introduction of yourself, your journey, how you reached here, and particularly your journey? What drove you to AI and data analytics in financial services?
Yeah, well, I'm currently leading AI efforts around AI, Ey.AI. But I define myself as a passionate all my career as a passionate on how to use data analytics AI to transform business at a scale. So my profession, I'm based in Europe. I'm based in Madrid currently, but I've lived in Australia, in APAC a few years. I spent a lot of time in the US, as you can imagine. So I'm traveling the world, and that defines me a bit. I'm a citizen of the world. Very excited to be here with you today.
That's great. That's great. And I think you also have background in statistics and computer science and mathematics. So does that
Yes.
influence your choice, and how does that influence you until today?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, both my parents, my mother and my father were both engineers. I did maths and computer science. That influenced my career very early in my career. I had the opportunity to work with a guru at that point in time. He taught me all about how to interpret data and numbers to explain the context and social context and enterprise context. And I started quite early in my career in financial services. I started before jumping into consulting, applying machine learning algorithms, not for credit risk purposes, which was most popular, but really pioneering in those years the use of machine learning for growth, to better understand consumer behaviors, etc. So yeah, that has definitely shaped my career.
Great, great. And this is typically a biased question from me because I also graduated, my first graduation was in mathematics and statistics. And I feel like people who graduate from there, they always go one step deeper into AI. And then they
Yes.
are also able to achieve a lot there. By the way, EY has invested significantly in AI, like EY, data, and in general the technology over the last few years. So how this investment has shaped EY's strategy, how it has propelled the transformation of EI into kind of leading AI professional services firm.
Hugely, I would say. We invested $1.4 billion. I mean, our transformation journey has been years in the baking, I have to say. The investment that we did in the past, which I just mentioned, were phenomenal for us to be somehow AI ready. We shape our business architecture. We invested in fabric, in a data layer, in a data platform, in a knowledge layer, and ontologies, which today happen to be a great differentiator. And then obviously in around April last year, 2023, we decided to take that to the next level, and take all these efforts at a scale around three pillars: transform clients, so all our solutions, service disruption, etc. Transform EY, so our own journey. And I remember how we started with like 1,000 use cases, which we decided, hey, let's talk about value, and we transformed those 1,000 into eight. Really worth going that path, and then also transform the world, with the work that we are doing around social impact, AI for good, public policy, corporate policy, and regulation. There's so much going on with the EU Act. So I guess we are providing a holistic response to a bit of this tsunami. We have invested heavily in our people. So 400,000 employees have been reskilled. More than 320,000 have already gone through and completed an AI course. Almost 100,000 have got a certificate, an AI badge. So huge efforts on that, and then also huge efforts in equipping our professionals with the productivity tools to drive in this new context. Like, I think we were the first in launching a private and secure language model with, again, 400,000 employees that are feeding the collective knowledge of the firm, and definitely taking our productivity levels to the next level. So very exciting journey.
No, that's really great. So I think on one hand, you mentioned bringing whatever thousands of use cases to, let's say, eight top use cases on site, and then on the other hand also making hundreds of thousands of people enabled with this technology. Maybe I will get back to this point later. But now, a question about strategic prioritization across the geos. You mentioned you have been all over the world, from Australia to Europe and to America. So, with your responsibilities across diverse regions all over the world, how do you and EY in general set those priorities and your strategy for the AI across the regions? So yeah, well, very insightful discussion on that. So now with your responsibilities across the world, you mentioned you have been to Australia, Europe, the US, and EY, the global player. How does these different and diverse regions impact your strategy and your choice of implementation AI across the world?
Yeah, it's a great question, because one size doesn't fit all. But everything starts with a vision. Everything starts with a simple vision that everybody feels kind of reflected, to start like the movement, like a big change management. Because ultimately this is about working different. This is about using technology and placing technology at the center of our kind of workplace. So basically, again, we set up a vision which resonated to all regions, no matter which size, no matter developing countries or the North Star was around three things: build confidence on AI, create value, and augment human potential. How and then articulated through these three pillars, which I mentioned: transform clients, transform EY, and transform the world. We obviously, it is a transformation that is happening at pace. So what we are trying is to really orchestrate the development efforts, so try to not duplicate efforts, and that's something that, again, the developing countries are benefiting most from the developed countries, or some of these geographies. And so basically, we are creating like a hub and spoke model across regions, identifying like who does what, who is best placed to do what, and then build once and scale and implement and leverage broadly. That's why we are moving that fast. I think honestly we are moving faster than any of our competitors, and I respect all my competitors. But I think EY.AI has been definitely a best practice on how to provide a quick risk market response into something where everybody was kind of trying to react. So we are quite proud. Obviously, the journey has just started, but I think we are getting great momentum. And clients, analysts, and our employees are recognizing the efforts that we are putting into it.
Perfect. Great. And when you say who is doing, what best and then learning from that experience, is it like more within the device, workforce or organization knowledge, or is it like more whatever the word knowledge, the global knowledge that you are accommodating and then making choices in your strategies and your business model?
So, I mean, within EY, for example, let me take an example of one solution that we have disrupted, let's say, third-party risk assessment. It was the way we used to deliver. We used to take like a month and a team of a number of people. Well, now we are deploying that in 17 minutes. Obviously, to redesign, to reconfigure that services means an effort. And obviously, we don't want every geo to go through that effort. So we place one team, one place, went through that effort, and then kind of a scale. I think, but I mentioned that one size does not fit all, because it's very important, and that's something an effort we've done around change management, understanding where each geo is with regards to capabilities, learning, talent, technology adoption, a number of things. So while we have like one strategy, the implementation plan fits and adapts to the particular situation, and we call it the blueprints. So we define what is the AI blueprint for each region, what good looks like, depending on which location you are. How can you best be better equipped, but at the same time, how can you better leverage? And so these blueprints have driven a tremendous acceleration, because basically we provide an author start, and then it's all about execution.
Great, great. And by the way, now from the customer, you mentioned 3 points, like the EY's vision and focus and strategy about the customer, EY, and the world. And could you discuss how you use AI to enhance the customer centricity at EY? And then, for example, um, what kind of what you observe, that how does that then influence the customer engagement with EY and with the products?
You mean for our clients or for our
Yes,
employees? For our
for
clients?
your clients, exactly. So,
Well, for our clients, it's just we are helping them. Look, this has been a shock for everyone, also for our clients. Like when when I look at the patterns of adoption, we see a bit of a in late 2022, the market was a bit kind of a shock, and everybody was saying, well, let's do something. Then clients move from experimentation to, hey, this is here to stay, and they went through somehow functional transformation. So for example, we're doing a lot of work around contact center reinvention, customer service support, customer centricity. Back to your questions, product design. It is it's a new ways of doing things, and with that, I mean, we basically help on holistic functional transformation. Then there are other clients that are really taking this not just at the functional level for finance or customer, but really now horizontal. It's like, can we rethink, for example, all our entire back office? Or can we rethink our middle office? For example, think about a bank. It's like, can we reinvent the payment arena and moving from workflows to agentic based frameworks and workflows, or the front office, as I mentioned. So there are companies that are now, and the example of ourselves, we are taking now a holistic view about how to transform professional services. We actually want to be the most AI powered professional services firm in the world, and there are other clients that basically their need is about compliance, is about AI ethics, AI governance. So basically, this is how we see, I mean, the patterns on adoption and how we put clients at the center.
But by the way, that's very good mention, because then I was going to ask exactly next question. You're in financial services, then you are working a lot with the customer centricity, right? A lot of customer data, customer centric, client centric, and then comes the question of AI ethics and developing, for example, and making use of the data. So can you maybe elaborate how does EY take care of AI ethics, and what process and steps are applied in your engagements with your customers?
100%. So first, maybe where we stand as a firm. I think what you will find in the market is like there is a debate around is innovation or regulation, as if they were like two separate things. And we basically don't believe that's the case. Actually, we don't believe regulation slows down innovation necessarily. For example, think about the environmental regulation. I would say that it has accelerated, for example, all the innovation around renewable energies. Or think about a car without seat belts or brakes. Like, we put humans at center, and actually the EU Act is the first at scale and global effort around AI safety, basically. So we are fully compliant on that. Actually, the EU Act calendar has started in August. We are meeting kind of all the timelines. We are adapting all our corporate risk policies. We are helping clients adapt the risk frameworks and the corporate policies as well. We have set up a confidence index. So this is how serious we take it. So every single application, the AI application that we develop, has an AI index, a confidence index attached to it. So, I mean, basically, yes, we are. I believe AI governance and ethics is not something aside of the strategy of a corporation. It has to be front and center. And that's the way we have approached AI ethics. Our corporate public policies has been at the center of EY.AI, which is kind of has been our response to our strategic response to the market.
Oh, that's great to know. You mentioned about AI index and confidence. Okay. Is there like some sort of I don't know, general framework for calculating it, or it's more like in every process and stuff you have to some sort of formula?
It is a proper scoring, basically, that we give to make sure to give guidance on how accurate, like, are you taking the right, is this application has gone through the right process to have the right data? Is it explainable? Is it transparent? can we ensure that it doesn't have bias or not? So there are 9 categories. Is it secure? That will give a quantitative score, basically. And obviously, if you think about the EU Act, I mean, this is a great indicator. In a scenario, think about it, like in 2, 3 years, AI will be pervasive. Every single workflow, every single application of the enterprise will have AI on it. So how do you start? Where do you start looking at? Obviously, the use cases or the applications with high or very high risk, according to the EU Act classification, you want to make sure that those applications have a confidence index of 100%. Like on those applications where there is low risk, no, I mean, you may not really care. Of course you care, but at some point, how do you start? Where do you start the corporate efforts in really kind of driving the right measures to control and to ensure AI safety? That's where the confidence index can help tremendous an organization to identify where to put the focus.
No, that's great. Now I have a different question. So about gender parity at EY, EY champions in accelerating gender parity through women fast forward. And interestingly, I saw check the website. It mentioned some very interesting statistics, and which was about like it will take like 123 years to get to a parity, right? So can you highlight journal practices of gender equity, inclusivity at EY as one question, and in general, how do you see the future of gender AI, equity with or without AI in coming days?
I strongly believe in meritocracy. So regardless of gender, it's all about merit. I'm a woman in tech, and I'm an advocate also and I think a role model in my organization for a lot of women that somehow want to raise a career, not only in professional services but also in tech and data, which traditionally has been a space with less female representation. I'm truly an advocate of that. We want more women, more colleagues. I love making partners, and so we have deployed a number of initiatives and programs around mentoring and mentoring early stages, right? We have even outside EY initiatives, for example, on Girls Who Code. We are very, very committed with this collective of girls, and it's early stages when you can influence what the future. So not when they have finished their career, but much before, when they are still at school. So through a program like EY Ripples, my colleague Gillian and others are doing an excellent job in taking AI and technology to some vulnerable groups in society. So I think, look, I'm fascinated with the opportunities that AI will bring to bring more equality, because a lot comes from education, and Gen AI is a complete revolution in the field of education. We tend to work more or talk more about other fields, but actually education it's fundamental. So all in the sudden you can give any woman in the world, of course any man, but any woman in the world access to top high class education and knowledge, basically. And there are tools like Copilot, for example, GitHub, that will make software development much easier. So it will be accessible to groups that traditionally have not been in that space, and many of them are colleagues where women are dominant. So I just think that in 10 years, in less than 10 years, basically, the marketplace will be different in the sense of acceleration of that. It would not take 100 years, but much less. And I'm excited to see that transformation.
Well, that's great. I think that's also great that this democratization of AI and its availability all over the world now at least will start create more equal opportunities. And by the way, I pretty much resonate what you said in the beginning about meritocracy. I have been working in the past with really, really excellent women. For many years, I had actually female as my bosses and leaders, so that I totally understand that. It's really an exciting way to work. A little bit about now about you could educate us about and our audience about how does EY collaborate with the innovation partners, be it, for example, institutes like MIT or startup ecosystem of Silicon Valley. So let us know that how do you kind of such giant work together with innovation ecosystem.
Well, innovation has to be at the core of definitely business reinvention, and that's where we are. I truly believe that 3 to 5% of the companies in every sector, of each sector, will fundamentally reinvent the sector, the workflows. We're such an interesting point in time. So innovation and all the innovation vehicles are really relevant for us. So you mentioned, for example, MIT. We are part of the MIT CSAL, the Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab. We are members. We have partnership with Stanford. We have set up a global AI advisory council with representatives from everywhere in the world. We don't want to have just the view about what's happening in one side part of the world, but definitely across the world. We have experts in technology. We have experts in regulation. We have experts in industry, and then what we are building, obviously, our relationships with our alliance partners for that innovation to drive this innovation is extremely relevant, but also with our clients, because we want innovation to fit for purpose. So what we have set up and we have deployed across the globe, 16 client labs, what we call AI client labs, where for each sector, we are working with the clients and we bring together an ecosystem to help solve, reimagine a particular problem. Very excited with that. Also, obviously, startups and kind of venture capital, all that world, we are very close to them because there's so much technology that is happening or appearing every other day, especially when you think about industry verticals, because the large players, obviously, they provide a foundational technology and capabilities. But when it comes to verticals as well, you need expert technology that provides solutions to a particular or very niche problem of that particular industry. So that means we are fast building an ecosystem around industries, and we are very excited with the journey.
That's great. That's great to have these joint labs also with your clients in different industries. So interesting. And about your own experience, you have experience from financial industry in general, you mentioned, and then what do you see, like how does generally the practices or lessons from financial industries or banks that professional service industry could learn, particularly in the context of AI? That could be like data safety. You mentioned some of that, but I just wanted to reiterate my question based on let me rephrase that. You have had this senior roles, right, in analytics, innovation, in banks, in financial industry, and you have how does that experience, influence your choice of strategy?
Well, quite significantly. I mean, my experience. Look, financial services is a sector that is highly regulated. So and basically, I divide the market into a bit of one of the ways to slidize the market is this criteria: regulation, highly regulated, and less regulated. In any case, responsible AI has to be crossed no matter, but obviously compliance has some implications also on how you report how you provide that transparency on what you are doing. Obviously, for example, the need or the idea to really build a confidence index, as I mentioned, it came from a group of people that we were all coming from financial services. That's kind of so it definitely has some implications. Listen, today is not just one industry or the other. I think every industry is learning from each other, because the way transformation tends to happen is, as I mentioned, it starts with a function. So the function of, for example, a contact center. You may think, well, is this happening only in telecom? No, it is happening everywhere, right? It is a revolution that every bank, that every retail, that it is adopting now. The new concept of a contact center fully AI powered. Yeah, with the function of, for example, of IT, of technology, the function of data. It is a huge revolution. We call it AI ready data. I didn't mention, but entire data life cycle has been completely disrupted. So we talk about ranges of efficiency of 80%, 80%.
You have
Uh,
actually taken my next question. I'm sorry, you have taken my next question. Sorry. My
it's
question next
fine.
was exactly that side. What we you mentioned, okay, we start like how financial industry brought something to AI, compliance, due diligence, more stuff, right? And then the other way around. You start like, okay, that was my next question. How do you see AI I mean, AI is very revolutionary, right? So what do you see? How will this impact of AI will be on the industry and different vertical within the next decade? What do you see? Where it is heading?
So listen, how what is the fundamental disruption that this technology brings? This technology is not process oriented. It's not workflow based. Right? I mean, basically, since the Industrial Revolution, every technology, I mean, to produce an output, basically what we used to do is to follow a process and then boom, you get the output. This technology blows up all that concept. So traditionally, people, process, technology. That's how the enterprise are built, right? These are the three pillars. Well, the pillar of the center, which is process, is completely blow up, because this is a technology that is not process driven, but is objective driven. It's driven by goals. You actually tell the technology what you want to achieve. So I want to improve my customer service satisfaction, or reduce, optimize productivity in my contact center by 12%.
Yeah.
And the technology will manage, will identify where. It's not that something you define, it's that it figure out. Like, I tend to put a very simple example, but for everybody that is listening us to understand, it's like if I say, hey, I want to fly from Madrid to New York for free, yeah, I may take a week, I might, have to fly through it, I will take hundreds of coupons, but I will eventually get there for free. Because the way this technology operates, you put what is the target, what is the goal, and then it doesn't follow a standard process. It doesn't follow a standard process. So that's why I think it's we are at we are going to see AGI coming, no doubt, and that will be a big shift for humanity. I think I tend to say that these days it's a bit of the calm before the storm, and
Okay.
I believe the storm is coming. Actually, yesterday I think OpenAI got a round funding of 20 billion.
Oh, wow.
This is because the path towards AGI, I believe, is closed. And I think humanity will get there.
No, that's really great. And now you seem like okay, very well informed. You have a strong opinion. And how about the emerging technologies in general, of course, AI? But I also saw at one place you also mentioned quantum computing, for example, or other things. So what is something that also that generally excites you about future technologies?
Well, modality AI, AGI definitely is the so basically it is an intelligence that is smarter than any human. So today LLMs, believe it or not, are quite basic. In the sense that they don't have reasoning, they don't have the logic, they don't have the ability to guess what are the unintended consequence of of an output. But this is coming. Actually, the latest versions are already starting to incorporate the sense of reasoning. So this is coming. To me, that is going to be a huge breakthrough for humanity. That and quantum. So I'm glad you mentioned quantum. So I think the two technologies of this 21st century are going to be AI and quantum. And those two together will be truly transformative.
Well, that's great. So yeah, that's I think very interesting discussion. Now we are reaching to end of our uh, expected time. So maybe one last question, based on your experience, what would you advise to young professionals who wants to build their career in AI transformation?
So I'm glad you make this. It's a good way to finish, to kind of send a message out there. Listen, in the old times, if you wanted to have an impact in society, you were a doctor, you were a teacher, it's kind of these professions that have an impact. Today, I think you want to be an AI architect, because this is shaping the world for our kids, for our future generations. Whether we do it ethically or not, it will depend ultimately on us, on people that are at the driving seat, shaping this future. So I guess if someone has the motivation to build legacy, to build a better world, to build a better society, to be an architect of what the future is going to look like, you definitely want to be in the AI and data space.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, thank you very much, Beatrice. This has been
Thanks
really
to
an
you.
exciting, insightful discussion and very open. I really appreciate that. Um,
Lovely.
so yeah, again, from my side, from BetterTech and from our audience, thank you very much and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much to you.